Welcome to the Lucidist podcast. My name is Shelly Sawyer Jenson, and it is a lovely hot July afternoon. And I did not plan on doing a podcast, but I'm going to do one. So here I am about to do my first collaborative podcast, which will be tomorrow. And I'm going to have someone that I admire very much come on and answer 3 questions that I think will be very interesting. And I'm going to do it with a number of people, and I'm just going to call it my 3 questions podcast. So that's how you'll know what it is. And as I was sitting here and I had my questions here, and I was thinking about, I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm really excited to begin this part of the podcast. And something in me said, well, what are your answers? And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm not really interested. And another part of me said, well, you should take your own challenge. Like, answer your own questions. Answer the questions that you think were so interesting. Answer them for yourself and share them with your community. So this may be a really quick one. I don't know. I haven't even thought about answering these questions for myself. So here is the first of the 3 questions. And just so you know, if you decide you're like, you know what, I would like to come on to Shelly's podcast. I don't even think it's my podcast, but I would like to come on to Lucidess. And I would like to answer her 3 questions. Please reach out. I'd be happy to have you. You don't need to be special to come onto my podcast and answer these questions, because everyone is special. And I don't just say that. I mean, I have met some of the most amazing people, and they are so overlooked. So overlooked. So you don't need to be special to be able to answer these questions in amazing ways. Number 1. What did I learn way too late? What did I learn way too late? I mean, I can sit and laugh about that because I literally have been journaling about what did I learn way too late. And what did I learn way too late? To be myself. To be myself. Just to be myself. I still work on that every single day. Just to be myself. Just to unapologetically be who and how I am. Who and how I am. Doesn't mean that unapologetic does not mean I spew it all over the world. Okay, I do want to say that. But I also am not going to apologize for who and how I am. If you don't want to engage with me as I am, totally fine. I have no need to interfere in your life or bother you, blah, 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 blah. But I'm also not going to apologize to myself or to others for who and how I am. So what I learned way too late. What did I learn way too late? And that is it, So that's what I would say. Which is interesting because I kind of just preempted my second question. But now that's good to know. I may have guests that do the same thing. What do I still have to learn? What do I still have to learn? So that's the second question. And I would say I still am learning how to be myself, how to unapologetically just be myself. Just say, this is who I am. This is how I am. And I guess what I would say about what I'm still learning about that. I'm getting better at the first part, just unapologetically being me. Which doesn't mean I don't care about what others think about me or how they judge me, but to temper or to balance that caring about what other people think about me with, I'm not even going to say what I think about me, because that also can be a very tenuous space. I'm learning what I still have to learn. I am learning how to unapologetically be who and how I am in each moment. And I'm learning to balance what I think about me and what you think about me with what do I feel called to do in my life. So I'm letting what I think and what you think, we're both on the same side of the scale, so you're no higher or lower than what I think about myself, honestly, a lot of, with what is my soul asking me to do? And am I doing that? And if I am, then these really don't have any relevance. And if I'm not, then these may really be an important barometer in my life, So what I still have to learn is how to live in service of and with and as my soul. And when I am true to that, don't worry. Just don't worry about what anyone thinks. When I'm not being true to that, I absolutely should probably look and see what I think and what others think about me. So I'm learning how to be in service of something that doesn't always make sense, doesn't always feel like it's kind. There have been times recently where I've been asked to have like pretty, and I've even used the words with people, with my children, with my family, less so with my siblings. Yeah, I'm still at that ground. I have such a powerful, strong relationship with my kids that we can have unapologetic conversations where none of us is going to apologize for who and how we are, and we don't agree. And it's still a safe space. And that is remarkable that, first of all, any three people would come together and do that. And each of us is so different. So none of us sees it the same. So first of all, that three people could do it. Three people in a family could do it. And where one of them is a mother, right? That we have created a space of equality for all of us to be unapologetically who and how we are and talk about it. And that is in service with my soul, meaning my soul has been very clear in the directive, continue to be a teacher in your children's lives by being yourself, unapologetic. And I actually use those words when I started a recent conversation with them where I said, I need you to understand, like, I am becoming more and more unapologetic for who and how I am. And it was interesting because and I said, and you may not like me. And that is just how it's going to be. And we got done with the conversation. It was probably an hour and a half. And we didn't come to any kind of consensus other than, hey, we see things differently, right? And that was fine. And then it was funny because at the end, they kind of had a little chuckle and they were like, your unapologetic, unlikable self is still so thoughtful and caring that you're just not a harsh, cruel person. But inside, I feel like I'm being like this big beastle, And so that was big news for me where I was like, oh, what feels to me like inside like this big, powerful, like I'm going to say what needs to be said and hold my ground. And they're like, yeah, cool. We can totally see that. Yeah. And I see it yeah, totally get it. And your point is totally valid. But yeah, I see it this way and you see it this way. And you being unapologetic is really not that harsh. So, just saying, for someone out there who has never, if you've always been unapologetic, I would tell you to consider being humble, because I have spent my whole life being so humble that being unapologetic, I feel like this big ferocious bear. Anyway, so okay, so that was question number 2. What do I still have to learn is tempering what I think of me and what you think of me with what my soul is asking of me, and allowing that to be the true barometer in my life. Meaning, if I feel called and asked to do this thing, I'm going to trust that over my own interpretation and judgment of myself in the situation and your interpretation and judgment of me in the situation. And I have done that a good bit in the last couple of years since reporting my rape. And I've mentioned some of those incidences, but there are people out there that have some pretty negative, harsh views and judgments of me. And that's been hard for me to, that's where I say it's not that I don't care. I'm not going to pretend like I don't care. I very much do care. But I choose not to let your view of me or judgment of me dictate how I move in the world. I don't let my judgment of me dictate how I move in the world. If I did that, I would always be a little mouse running around trying to hide from everyone, because I am so averse to making waves or causing conflict. So more and more just stepping into and being a place where I'm following what I'm called to do. That doesn't feel comfortable. All right, and then the third question, which is honestly my favorite question, and I was going to start with it. I haven't decided. We'll just see. I mean, I haven't done this yet, so I'm sure I'll learn and change a lot of things about this. Maybe I'll even change the questions. But for now, for tomorrow with my first guest, and for myself, what do I hope is my final thought before I pass? And I've actually thought about this a lot because there's been a few times where I've been close to death. And one time, one of the very close times, I was going into anaphylactic shock, couldn't breathe, and just so much love. There was just love. I just wanted to have and just felt love. There was a lot of fear. I mean, I hope there's less fear when I actually die, but if there is, I would like my last thought to be that one was of love. Just like I just felt so much love for the family that I was leaving, my small children. But the second time when my kids were older, that was when I was very sick and I was, felt my body was almost going to die. I laid there one night and that was joy. And I very much decided then, and I know I've shared this story many times with many people, I want to die with joy in my heart. And as powerful as love was, I would say for me, at least as far as I understand my journey so far, it will be joy. Joy is what brought me back from death the second time. Joy is, when it comes to me, it is so, it's just like, from my experience inside and from what people say, I'm just like, like a beacon of literally like heavenly light. But I can get in my way so much. So what do I hope is my final thought? I hope it's a thought of joy. And maybe it's just joy, but a thought that brings me joy. And there are a lot of thoughts that could be, but a thought of joy. That's what I would want my final thought to be here in this realm, whatever this journey is. So, okay, so I look forward. So this is the first 3 questions, and I decided to answer my own quickly. And then you'll see another one with my dear friend Paul. He'll be zooming in with us from South Carolina. So, and I look forward to, this is me branching out again, following my soul's compass, where it's saying I still need to continue doing personal ones where I just share my journey, but also start branching out and inviting people to come in and sort of guide them in sharing their journey. And the 3 questions were the easiest way I could think of to begin that for me as someone who hasn't moderated much on podcasting, or I should say none. And also with people who aren't podcasters or presenters, so to speak, just bringing your everyday person. So just sending so much love out to all of you. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I hope you enjoy the first 3 questions with Paul when that comes out. Thanks. Bye-bye.